Good morning, yogis. Let's get started today standing up. So stand with your feet hip distance apart and look down at your feet. Make sure that the outer edges of your feet are parallel. I think for many of us this will mean that the big toes will be slightly turning in. And then wiggle your legs around and soften your knees so that they're not locked. Tuck your pelvis under and press the back of your thighs away toward the back wall. Feel the whole lower part of your body become solid. And let's stand with our palms open, facing the front, and begin to deepen our breath. You can close your eyes, and as you bring your attention and deepen your breath, bringing your attention to your breath, feel the ground under your feet. And feel or imagine that each of your feet is like a rectangle, and there are 4 corners on this rectangle, on each of your feet. And feel if you can feel all 4 corners of that rectangle pressing into the ground. As we press the feet down into the ground, extend the crown of your head toward the sky. So as we stand here, we can feel a downward action in the lower portion of the body and an upward action in the upward portion of the body, up the crown of the head. The breath continuing to flow deeply and smoothly. This posture or asana is called mountain. And feel as if the crown of your head is the peak of this white snow-colored mountain, extending up toward the heavens. Now, we'll take our hands behind our thighs. Make sure your knees are nice and soft and slowly slide them down your legs. Gently fold forward. And with your knees bent so you can feel your waist against your thighs, we'll simply hang upside down for a few breaths. Here, we simply want to release any tension in our spine. You can wiggle around a little bit. Draw your navel in toward your spine as you exhale and squeeze your ankles toward each other, drawing your shoulders away from your ears. Continuing to smooth the breath out. Continuing to feel those 4 corners of the rectangle of your feet pressing into the ground. As you exhale and draw your navel in toward your spine, try to tilt your tail toward the sky. Try to lengthen your spine as you stay. Maybe turning your head gently side to side. From here, we'll place our hands on our thighs to help ourselves slowly roll up. And we come back upright and back into our mountain shape. Continue to smooth the breath out and notice how you feel. There's an effect that each of our asanas has on us. The forward bends are tending to be more calming. And notice, as you extend the crown of your head toward the sky, is there a feeling of growing taller? And again, we'll fold forward. Take your hands behind your thighs and fold forward. And let's rise back up. Following the flow of your breath, let's continue with this a few more cycles. On the next cycle, we'll fold forward, standing at the front of your mat. Once you bring your fingertips to the floor, step back into your downward facing dog. Another kind of inverted position, the downward facing dog, the head lower than the heart. Continue drawing your navel in towards your spine as you exhale. And on the next breath in, lower onto your knees as you breathe in, pointing your toes, and as you exhale, move into child's pose. Rise up onto the hands and knees and exhale back into down dog. Continuing this cycle. As you next come into your child's pose, let's prepare to stay. Let yourself release. Take your arms and bring them to the right to come into a side bend, and breathe deeply into the left side of your body. Let's move back to the center, straightening at first, lengthening, and then bending to the other side, another side bend. Coming back to the center, rise up onto your hands and knees, and we'll extend the right leg back with an internal rotation of the thigh. Notice as you turn the leg inwards, the toes should be pointing straight toward the floor. Keep your navel drawn in to support the lower back. And then we'll take the left arm, so the opposite arm to the leg, and we'll reach it forward and stretch as you breathe in. And as you exhale, let's tuck, bringing the elbow toward the knee. And as you breathe in, extend. Exhale and tuck. Inhale, extend. Exhale and tuck. Extending once more, holding for a moment, and then lowering the knee and the hand to the floor. So we can go to the other side. Let's start with the left leg, extending it back, keeping the navel drawn in to support the lower spine. Internal rotation of the thigh, reach the heel away. And then the right arm extends as we breathe in. Exhale and tuck. Inhale, extend. Exhale and tuck. Inhale, extend. Exhale, tuck. Once more, extend and hold. Lower the hand and the knee to the floor and press back into down dog. Let's come forward into plank, lowering to the floor, and I'd like you to roll onto your left side. Laying on your side with your head against your shoulder or your arm, and the heels will come slightly forward, so we have a slight bend in the hip area. Flex your heels and float the left leg above the right. Turn the leg inside. Touch the floor with your big toe. And then to the back. Heel touches behind. Let's repeat this. Now, I want you to try to make this little inverted U motion into as small as possible so we can focus on rotating in the hip joint. It doesn't have to be big here. One more cycle. And then we'll bend the knee and place the sole of the foot on your inner thigh. So here what we're trying to do is create an opening here in the hip area. Keep your pelvis slightly tucked under so you're not arching your tail toward the back, arching the back. And just simply open for a moment here. Feel a release. Let's take the knee and draw it in. And with your hand behind your thigh, try extending your leg up and straightening it. You can use your hand here to support the leg extension. And if you have access to grabbing your big toe, you can also choose that as well. And we just want to feel a release in the hamstrings here. Hold it for a moment and breathe deeply. And let's lower the leg down. And we'll roll onto our other side. Now rest your head against your arm. Now we're laying on our right side, or at least for you, the opposite side. We take the top leg as we did before. Heels are flexed. We'll internally rotate and touch the toe and the heel. And again, what we want to focus is the rotation. So imagine your leg is like in one straight line, and you just want to turn inside this hip joint. As you do this, feel your core down in the lower body. And notice if you can feel what action is happening down here. How is this leg turning? What is the feeling of turning the leg inside, the muscles that are working? Then we'll bend the knee, and again, placing the foot on the inner thigh. And again, we want to try to open here. Just opening. Smooth your breath out. Let's draw the knee in. And then with your hand behind, try extending your leg. As before, if you have access to it, you can grab your big toe as well. But it's the same action either way. And let's release it. We'll roll over and come onto our hands and knees. And let's sit back into child's pose once more, just for a moment. From here, rise up onto your hands and knees and come down onto your forearms. So your forearms could be parallel, or you could choose to put your fingers into wrapping your fingers around each other. We'll come into a kind of down dog. Tuck your toes under, lift your knees off the floor, and reach your tail away. This shape is called dolphin. Let's hold it for a moment. Lowering down onto the knees, we'll move into our downward facing dog once more. Palms on the floor, and reaching away. As you breathe in, lift your right leg, and as you exhale, draw the knee into your chest. And let's extend it away and draw the knee into the chest. As you draw your knee into your chest, try bringing your chin towards your knee. And one more. Hold the tuck. And then take your knee and place it on the edge of your mat behind your right hand and point your left foot. So we're going to take a very gentle half pigeon here. We're still warming up. Well, make it gentle for yourself. We'll come into it again later and go a little bit deeper if we want. But for now, very gentle, just to release tension in the outer thigh. Smooth your breath out and let go with each exhale. From here, let's move back into our down dog. And we'll continue on the other side. Extend your left leg out, heel flexed, internal rotation of the thigh, toes pointing straight down, and then we tuck as we exhale. Extend straight back, and tuck. And repeat this a few more times. Now, we'll hold the tuck, stay for a moment. And as before, we'll take the knee and bring it to the edge of the mat behind our left wrist, pointing the toes of the right foot, and just a very gentle half pigeon. It's important here to firmly draw your navel in towards your spine as you exhale. Again, this will provide support for the lumbar spine for you. Gentle. As you exhale, let go. Let's prepare to come back into our down dog. Come forward and lower onto your knees and move back into child's pose. And let yourself release. Rising up onto your hands and knees, tucking your toes under. And we'll walk our hands back so that the hands are on either side of your knees. Rocking your knees off the floor, lift your heels up and reach your tail towards your heels. Feel your waist against your thighs. Staying for a moment. Then lowering the heels down, and we come back into our forward bend. Knees bent, so bend them even more, as if you're going to sit in a low stool. And as you breathe in, let's rise into chair. Exhale as you fold. Looking at your feet, make sure they're parallel as before. Think again about those two rectangles, each foot, the rectangle, the 4 points, the 4 corners of the rectangle, into the floor. Not just maybe the front of the feet, but the whole foot, the heel as well as the front. Feet parallel. Now, move into chair and remain. Let's rise up. And lowering the arms at our sides, and we come back into our mountain. Tadasana. Let's take our feet apart, coming into a straddle. Legs are wide, and again the feet are parallel. And as before, the big toes may be slightly turned inwards to get those outer edges of your feet to be parallel. And we're going to fold forward in this shape, in the straddle. And we'll hang upside down once more. The knees can be bent, important for that, so you can feel yourself hinging at your hips. And as we stay, feel the outer edges of your feet pressing down into the floor. Press the outer edges down, and as you exhale, draw the navel firmly in towards your spine and try to tilt your tail toward the sky. Again, drawing your shoulders away from your ears. Another spinal release. Just letting gravity create length in the spine. From here, we'll bend the right knee even more, straightening the left leg, and just come over to this side. Feel a release in your inner thigh, in the left leg. And let's go to the other side. And back to the center. Now you can stay with your hands on the floor to give yourself some support, or you can choose to bring your arms behind you, interlacing your fingers, lifting the arms away. Smooth your breath out. Let your spine release. Release your fingers and bring your hands to the floor. Come up to your fingertips and lift up into a half bend. Think about the crown of your head extending away. It might feel like you're trying to pull yourself forward from your fingertips to reach the crown of the head away. Now to rise up, we need to feel our feet, or our heels, I should say, pressing into the ground, and we're going to be pushing from our heels to come up. You can either place your hands on your thighs or reach the arms back. Push from your heels to come up, feeling the backside of your body lifting you back up. And now we come back upright. Notice how you feel. Is there, in fact, a kind of calming sensation that you feel? Let's prepare to twist. Extend the arms away, bending your right knee, and we'll turn, bringing the left hand down toward the floor into a twist, and unwinding and coming back up as you breathe in. Let's repeat. Move smoothly and slowly. One more cycle. Now we'll proceed to the other side. Left knee soft, turning into your twist on this side. Rising back up as you breathe in. Maybe slowing it down just a bit, moving just a bit slower. Smoothing it out. Smoothing the movement out. Let's take one more cycle. And now back to the first side. This time we'll stay. As you breathe in, let's turn the head and look down at your big toe. And as you exhale, turn your head and look up toward the sky. And repeat this, breathing in, turning the head to look down, exhaling, turning to look up. One more cycle. Prepare to stay. As you exhale, draw your navel in and twist it toward the sky. With each exhale. As you breathe in, broaden your shoulders and extend the crown of the head away. Become still. Notice if you feel trembling as you remain. Smooth the breath out. Move towards stillness, letting the trembling release. Slowly come up. And let's take a moment here. I feel like I'm all wired up. That feels better. Standing for a moment. When I say wired up, it feels like a restriction. So I'm trying to loosen it up. I don't feel like I'm tugging on this wire. So let's extend the arms apart. And we'll come to this side and remain. And then as you breathe in, turn your head, look down at your toe. And as you exhale, turn your head, look up toward the sky. Continuing. And finishing with one more, where we will remain with our gaze toward the sky and work with churning the navel center once more. Drawing the navel in and twisting it toward the sky as you exhale. And as you draw the breath in, broaden your shoulders and extend the crown of the head away. Expanding in the shape, gently. Again, noticing if you feel trembling, use your breath, smooth it. Moving toward stillness. Let yourself relax instead of tensing up. And let's prepare to rise up. Standing once more, opening the palms. Smooth the breath out. We'll bring our feet again hip distance apart and prepare to fold forward once more. Slide your hands down the back of your legs and fold forward and stay. Feel the four corners of the rectangles of your feet into the floor. Squeeze your ankles toward each other. Firmly draw the navel in toward the spine as you exhale. Knees bent enough so you can feel your waist against your thighs. Turning the tail toward the sky. And lengthening the spine. Let's come up into a half bend, coming up to your fingertips. Again, feel as if you're trying to pull yourself longer, lengthening the spine from your fingertips, reaching the crown of the head away. The chin slightly tucked, the gaze toward the floor so that the neck is in alignment with the rest of the spine, a straight line. From here, you can take your hands on your thighs or reach the arms back. Again, feel your heels pressing into the floor and push from your heels to rise up. Extend the arms up to the sky and lower them to your sides, and we come back into our mountain shape. Now we'll come into a balance called tree. We were in a similar shape laying on our side. Let's bring our hands together. Lift your left foot off the floor and find your balance. Open the knee and let's place the foot on the inner thigh. You can remain as you are, or you can extend the arms up toward the sky. Now we'll lower the foot down and take a moment to adjust. Notice if you feel any trembling in your body. Smooth your breath out and become still. Let's try the other side. Lifting the other foot off the floor, placing the foot against the inner thigh. It should have a light touch. We're not pushing into that inner thigh. And then perhaps growing your branches. Let's place the foot down and stay for a moment. Now, let's bend the knees, and we're going to try to cross the left ankle across the right thigh. So we're going to need some balance. Bring your palms together and see if you can cross the leg and hold it. And as you hold it, you can begin to move a little deeper. See how that feels. See what you can do with it. If you're having trouble balancing, you can put your hands on something to help with the balance. And let's rise up and step down. Here we can bring our attention around our hips and notice if there's a feeling of more expansion on this side that we just opened. See what you feel there. When we come into an asymmetric shape, we can begin to see what the shape is doing to our bodies. And let's try the other side. So we'll bend the knees again and see if you can take your other foot and cross it and open. And let's rise up and step down. And again, we can bring our attention around our hips. Does it feel good? Smooth your breath out. Let's take the hands behind the thighs and prepare to fold forward, stepping at the front of your mat. Slide your hands down and rise into the half bend as you breathe in. Step back into your down dog. We're going to come into a side plank next. So first come into your plank. And in the side plank, you can either have the support of your left knee on the floor as you turn to the right, or you can choose to have your legs together and turn to the right. Let's hold it for a moment. Turn your gaze toward the sky if you can. Let's come back into our downward facing dog so we can prepare to go into the side plank facing the other way. So come into your plank. And here you can put the right knee on the floor to support yourself as you turn. Or you can choose to have your legs together. Do what feels best for you. Let's hold for a moment. Come back into your down dog. Coming forward into plank once more. This time we'll lower down. And we'll prepare for our Sphinx. So come up onto your forearms. Tuck your pelvis under. So we turn the tail downwards, tucking under. And we're going to hold it there. And draw the lower navel in and hold it there as well. This supports our lower spine. And before we do any bending, all I want to do at first is breathe in and extend the crown of the head away. So I want to try to grow longer in my spine. So it'll feel like I'm pulling the elbows toward my hips as I reach the head away, and then releasing it as I exhale. Now we'll try the back bend with this. So be gentle with yourself. Take a exhale out, and as you inhale, extend the crown of the head away, and then add the lift. And release it. And let's repeat. And one more. Very good. Now take your left forearm and cross it and reach back and see if you can grab your shin. And we're just going to pull the heel in toward our bottom. And hold it for a moment. Firmly draw your navel in towards your spine as you exhale. And let's release it. We'll try the other side. Heel is flexed and we draw it in. Firmly drawing your navel in towards your spine. And then release it, and we'll prepare for cobra. Point your toes, reach the legs back, place your palms on the floor on either side of your chest. Again, tuck your pelvis under and hold it there. Gently rise into cobra. And release as you exhale. And repeat. Very good. Let's come up onto our hands and knees and sit back into your heels into our child's pose. And rise up kneeling. Bring in your arms behind, stacking the palm, one palm on top of the other, palms facing away. As you draw the breath in, extend your left arm up, and let's slowly come down. Here we're going to turn our head toward the right, gazing away from the extended arm. Slowly come down, moving your left temple toward your mat. And let's rise back up as we breathe in, lowering the arm down as you exhale, and we go to the other side. Now it's the right arm up. See if you can come down slowly, this time turning your head so your gaze is toward the left, again away from the extended arm. There's a gentle, nice release you should feel around your shoulder and your neck as you come down here. And this is very nice to relieve any tension in your neck and shoulders. Let's go back to the first side. And then the second side, once more. Now, with both arms. And we'll slowly come down into child's pose, and this time we'll stay. Let yourself settle and release. Rising up onto your hands and knees, let's press back into down dog. And we'll stay for a short time. Lowering onto your knees. Let's cross the legs and sit. In our easy pose, the legs are crossed. And we'll take the left leg and extend it out at a diagonal. Right knee is bent. The leg is straight, and we add a turn inside, internal rotation, and we're simply going to hinge. So we want to avoid bending in the spine. Imagine you're extending the crown of the head away, lengthening your spine, and the hinge is at your hip joint. So we don't want to put any stress in the lower back. And we want to be especially gentle here, so move into it slowly. Don't just jump into the asana. And come to a more than comfortable place and simply smooth your breath out. And we'll stay here. So you might say, depending on where that more than comfortable place is for you, it might be for different places for us, but more than comfortable. And we just simply want to settle, smooth the breath out, and relax. Just notice the feeling in your body. And as you exhale, let go tension. And maybe after a short time, the more than comfortable place might be coming a little deeper. It depends. See where it is for you. More than comfortable. And let's come back up. We'll switch the legs. Now there was a certain amount of opening we did on this left leg, and so we want to again be gentle and take our time. Just move just a little bit and just spend some time here. Just work on smoothing your breath out. Now it might be our hips are a little bit different. And the more than comfortable place might be different for you. We don't have to, ideally we want to over time create balance in the body, but the thing is that we want to find that same more than comfortable place, maybe not exactly in the same bend as before, but finding the feeling that feels the same. And remaining with that. As you exhale, make sure you're exhaling completely. Notice if you're retaining any breath with your exhale and let more out. And let's come back up. We'll extend our legs forward. And we'll come into a twist now, bending your left knee. Draw your heel in. Then we'll cross the leg. We come back to that idea of the rectangle with the 4 points. We again want to feel the entire rectangle, the 4 corners of it making contact with the earth. And the other leg can remain just where it is, or you can bend your knee. Feel a release in the outer thigh. And we'll begin to turn now. Take your left arm behind you. Begin to turn gently. And the right hand can be on your outer thigh as you turn, but we're not pulling or cranking ourselves. Just finding the twist. Your elbow might cross. And we're looking over the shoulder. And with each exhale, draw the navel in and turn it in the direction of your twist. Let's unwind and come back into our staff pose. Extend your legs. And now the other side. Your right knee, bending it, drawing the heel in, straightening the spine. Settle. Then we cross the leg. Again, the four corners of the rectangle of that right foot in firm contact with the earth. And the other leg either remaining or bending the knee. Let yourself settle for a moment. Check your alignment, your spine straight. And we'll take the right arm behind. Begin to turn, looking over your shoulder. And the left hand can be on the outer thigh as we turn and look over the shoulder. Again, we're not pulling or cranking. Gently helping us to stay in the twist and churning the navel center. We might cross the elbow. Don't force anything. And let's come out of it. Extend the legs forward into staff pose. From here, we're going to come into a shape called boat, Navasana. And for this one, we'll come back, hands on the floor, and lift your heels. So here's the first step, and we can stay here. If you're having trouble with this, you could go with one or the other and maybe interchange your feet. Not so quickly, but for a while on one and then a while on the other. You can also choose to take the support of your hands away and maybe extend the legs. Let's come back up and cross the legs. Coming back into our easy pose. And let's bring our feet together. Wrap your fingers around your toes. The butterfly, or sometimes called butterfly, or the bound angle. Let's lift the left knee, and we'll bring the foot around. And now we have another kind of release in the thigh. Notice that there's a rotation here. We want to keep the spine straight and long. And if you're having trouble here, if this is uncomfortable for you, you can take a block or a pillow and slide it under your left side so you're sitting on something and you have some support. The important thing is that we can relax and let this opening happen without feeling like we're trying to hold ourselves up and contracting in the process. Smooth your breath out and be still for a moment. Think of something that you're grateful for. when you remember it, it helps you to feel how wonderful this life is. And we'll gently bring the leg around and come back into our bound angle or butterfly. And we can take a moment to notice again the two hips, this one versus this one, and noticing if you feel a difference in those two sides. Let's prepare for the other side. So we lift the right knee and bring the leg around, and we set ourselves up on this side. And, as I described before, the position on this side might feel more challenging or less challenging to you. If there's an imbalance around your hips. And another way of describing it, more comfortable versus less comfortable. And you can also sit on a pillow or a block if you feel uncomfortable staying here, finding a way to be comfortable. And we simply will breathe slowly and deeply. And as we stay, we can take a moment to recall again something that we feel grateful for. There are so many things, isn't it, that we're grateful for? It doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be very simple and small. Just grateful that we can breathe deeply and smoothly, especially in this time of coronavirus. And just the breath itself is so wonderful. And it's such a dichotomy because the not breath is so unwonderful, isn't it? And let's bring our feet back together. And from here, we're going to come back into our half pigeon. This time we'll be going a little bit deeper. So let's come onto our hands and knees. Let's begin with pressing back into down dog. Then bring your right knee out to the edge of your mat behind your wrist, pointing the toes of the left foot. Now again, we want to move very slowly into this. And before we even move into it, I want you to flex your right heel and press the outer edge of this foot down into the ground firmly. Press it down into the ground firmly. And secondly, notice if when you come in this position, if you're turning sideways. So here the plane of my pelvis is not facing the floor. And what we need to do is turn to face the floor. So the plane of the pelvis is parallel with your mat. And as we remain here, we can take a moment to settle in and become comfortable. And as you feel comfortable, you can begin to come a little bit deeper. But the important thing, again, is to find a place where you're not tensing up. So just to the point where you can continue to feel comfortable. And simply smooth your breath out. Take your time with your exhale and exhale completely. As you exhale completely and let go all of the air, observe what's happening with the mind. Just for a moment, when you're completely empty, is there a pause in thoughts? From here, we'll come back into our down dog. And continue on to the other side. So now the other knee comes forward, the toes are pointed, and again, start off extremely gentle. Flex your heel and press the outer edge of the foot again down into the floor firmly. And just take a moment to settle where you are so you can begin to let go. And if you feel like that comfortable place can move a little bit deeper, you're welcome to do that, or stay where you are. And again, bring your attention to your breath. Try to keep it there and observe whether you're exhaling completely. Observe if you feel any trembling or tension in any part of your body. Imagine you're draining yourself of this nervous tension, this nervous energy with your exhale. And let's prepare to come back into our down dog. Come forward into plank and lower down to your mat and roll onto your back. Draw your knees into your chest and let's begin to rock side to side. And you can remain this way with your hands on your shins, rocking side to side. Or you can also pick to grab your big toes or maybe the outer edges of your feet as you rock and enjoy the sensation of rocking. And coming to a stop, place your feet on the floor and let your knees open apart. Putting your right hand on your belly and your left hand over your heart. And smooth your breath out. Let's lift the knees, and we'll have a choice here on legs up the wall. You can be up against the wall, but we can also do this where we are sliding our hands or our fists underneath our bottom and extend the legs up. Or if you have a pillow or a block, you can place that there and extend your legs up. And we'll just stay here for a short time with the legs up. And just relax. And let's slowly come out of it. And we'll finish with a twist. Draw the knees into your chest and twist to the right first, turning your gaze in the opposite direction. Gentle. Let's go to the other side. And then back to the center. Let's tuck. And finally stretch out. Extend your legs, arms over your head, and breathe deeply, stretch. Lengthen your spine. And let's relax in our Shavasana. Feel the sensations of your body, the breath. And remain I'll talk a bit as you relax in your Shavasana. The term Amrit is like nectar. Nectar. And the term Vela is, to me, it means to reveal before the sun rises, the twilight, before the sun is revealed. Vela, Amrita Vela, is that twilight hour before the sun rises. And this is considered in yoga sadhana, the daily practice of yoga, to be a very special time. Amrita Vela, the twilight hour before the sun rises. And in the fourth pari of the Japji is a stanza, Amritvela Sachanau Vadiaayee Veechaar. And this basically translates to mean in that twilight hour, that nectar before the sun reveals itself, pray or chant or meditate on the divine name. And you will be free. So I'm adding here, you will be free of suffering. Amritvela Sachanau Vadiaayee Veechaar. 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 It cannot be explained, it can only be experienced. Let's begin to deepen our breath and wiggle our fingers and toes. And take your time rolling onto your right side. Help yourself come up and sit. Our practice today was a forward bend practice. And it's intended to be something that's soothing and making us feel more stable and still. So as you sit, notice what you feel in your body, in your breath, and in the mind. Liberation, bliss. Let's lower the chin, bring our hands together at the heart center, and open your eyes up. Thank you for joining me today and practicing together. And let's finish with 3 Oms to finish our practice. Let's take a deep breath in. Have a nice day. Shanti Namaste. Enjoy your day, and goodbye.